We'd like you to meet Bob Cebula. Bob's introduction to the O-Gauge hobby started a long time ago.
Well, I was a little kid, and my dad had bought me a 2026 Lionel steamer that when I saw it, I absolutely loved it. And I even get choked up thinking about it. But unfortunately, my dad passed away when I was a little guy, and things kind of changed. But I had my one train layout. Mom and I had to move, and then little by little, I got a couple of more trains, and all the kids around me had a lot of trains. And it was just like just something to do. It was that was in those days. We didn't have computers, and people played stickball in the streets, and we had picture cards. It was a different time. It wasn't like the kids stay home now and play with computers, and maybe they're better off for it. I don't know. But I like the time I grew up in. So I saved the 2026 and the other whatever. In fact, I have an FM Trainmaster 2321, the gray top, that I still have it. It's that my mom bought me eventually.
Bob started building his layout with a modular design in mind, but that didn't work out as planned.
I put the modular layout up, and then eventually I couldn't take it down. It just got too big. It got out of hand. So now, instead of changing things, I added. Now we have trains on the ceiling in both parts of the layout. There's 4 sets that run on the ceiling. Instead of keeping the modules the way they were, just as tables and have trains running on top, I decided I was going to take the bottoms and make shelves and display cases, and then we put them on the walls. So now we have trains all over the place in the end. In fact, it's almost like if I get a new one from a train show, something else has got to go out because there's no more room.
Everywhere you look, Bob's layout is just packed with little details.
This is what turns me on, running the trains and the detail. I don't like to have a building that's scale and have a 5-inch conductor next to the building swinging a little lantern. It's not me. I buy things from Artista. Everything from him is scale. In fact, they even have eyebrows and eyes. They're really detailed. Even like the telephone poles with the little glass caps on them. Most of the trees I made myself. I like the detail. Details make it look real, and that's what I like.
In addition to all the details, the layout is also loaded with memories.
Everything brings out a story. Like this, there's a mobile gas station that I wanted to purchase, and I went to a train show, and the guy had one on display. So I brought it home, and I kind of liken it to a gas station that was in town when I grew up, the way they used to have a car on a rack on the outside and a man working underneath it, changing the oil and doing a grease job and whatever. And that's what I tried to do. And there's even a hobo leaning up against the payphone that's right next to the guy. There's a fellow with an arc welder on the inside, and you see it looks realistic. And it's like he's putting a muffler on the car. There's a couple of kids playing basketball at the other end of the street. There's a fellow that fell off a ladder. He was painting, and they even splattered the paint on the sidewalk right next to him. There's a guy driving a Good Humor ice cream truck and a hobo right in front of him trying to cross the street. And there's a gal washing her car.
The lights at the station are another example of the detail work Bob enjoys so much.
I saw lights in a Department 56 advertisement. The only drawback to them is that they're all battery fed. You can't use the batteries, so I took each light apart and rewired and put grain of wheat bulbs in each one. There's 2 in each one. And in fact, my son's girlfriend was over one night, and she saw what I was doing. She even helped me. So, and then you go paint them black. So now when I wire them up, they're DC electric fed, and it's it. That's detail to me. There must be, I guess, 60 or 70 lights. So you give you an idea how much work that was in itself. A few years ago, I had to go in for surgery, and I knew that when I came out, I would be home for a couple of weeks recuperating. So I decided that one part of the layout, I was going to make a framed building, like a building in construction. So the framed building, I bought all scale lumber and lined up exactly what I thought I would need to put this thing together. So I was sitting at the dining room table each day when I was resting, so quote resting, making my train layout bigger. I put this model together, and it's just something that occupied my time, and it's fun. There's not one phase of this hobby that I don't find interesting. You have some fellas, they like trains, they like to just run them, like myself. Other fellas like accessories. Some people are into scenery and mountains, different scales. I mean, waterfalls, whatever suits your interest. It just, I don't think you could ever be bored if you really get into this hobby. It's addicting, and it's a nice addiction.
Due to his limited space, Bob has had to find creative ways to display his collection.
As you could see, if you look around the room, I'm into F units. I mean, every wall's got a couple here and there, even towards the floor. Every time the catalog comes out and I see what I like, I mean, it's hard to resist. You know, I like the diesels. Everybody's got their favorite, and for me, F units, that's it. As you look around the room, there's enough.
Whether it's F units, Trainmasters, K4 steam locomotives, or even his original 2026, Bob sure enjoys running his train. the hobby has been a big part of Bob's life for many years.
Anyone else that's done one of these videos, or people I speak to, particularly the same age as me, say the same thing. It comes from the heart. It's just something that you grew up with, and I don't know, maybe it's just the way Lionel set it out to you, because they were the only game at the time, American Flyer too. But years ago, when they put those catalogs out, and you were a little boy, you couldn't resist them. I mean, it was just like you wanted everything in a catalog. If you look at them today, they still appeal to me. They really do. When I look around here, this is all the stuff that I wanted to have since I was a little kid. And I'm glad I did it, to be honest with you. I love this stuff. It's rewarding for me. When someone comes in and sees a house, a framed house that I put together, and say, wow, where'd you get that? And I said, I didn't get it. I made it. I didn't buy it. And other things around the layout. I like making the things. And maybe it's a selfish thing. I don't know. I like when people say, wow, that looks nice. It makes me feel good. I don't know, man. It's a little boy in me, I guess. Some people have different ways of looking at it. For me, that's it. I feel like a little kid. And maybe years ago, when I was a younger boy, people say, oh, he still plays with trains. Maybe I felt funny when I was a kid. You know what, today when people say, you know, you're still playing with trains? Yeah, I am. And I liked it.